Hi, I'm Jill Weston, and I'm here today in my roles as College Librarian and ILAC Coordinator. Everything I'm telling you today flows from the direction we would like to take information literacy at Wartburg. The current goals mention finding, using, and evaluating information. We would like to reframe that so that the functional searching skills are assumed or taught as needed so that the primary focus of developing information literacy skills is on the ability to consume information critically. These aren't different goals, but they will shift the focus away from associating searching skills with information literacy that concerns librarians to associating critical thinking with information consumption that concerns us all. This direction is based on different studies and commentaries in the literature and in actual practice by some librarians. These are all linked in the slides I'll share with you later. The first thing to know is that we're teaching the basics of information literacy a little differently in IS 101. And this is actually going to support first year's development more effectively. As most of you know, we teach basic searching and evaluation skills in IS 101 so that you can reinforce those basics in other essential ed courses, and you can build into more complex knowledge within the disciplines. The content of these foundational skills is summarized on the infographic that is linked on the ILAC guide. Starting this year, we are teaching this content through 2 tutorials in IS 101. The IS 101 instructors will assign the completion of the tutorials at the time that fits their research assignments best. This means that if you have first years in any of your courses this fall and you require research, you need to check in with those first years to see if they have completed those tutorials in their IS 101 section yet. If they have not yet completed them, then those first years should go ahead and do those tutorials earlier than is required by their IS 101 course, so that they have that foundational knowledge to complete the research for your course. The IS 101 instructors are aware of this, and we should all be able to work as a team to make this happen. This is also going to make reviewing the basics more streamlined. If you have students who need a review whatever their year, you can refer them to the Foundations in Research Guide. This is linked in several places, but let's focus on this path. Library homepage, research guides, getting started, and then you're here. Here, the students can watch the videos, read the text version of the read-along below, and they can even take the IS 101 tutorials again. That doesn't mess up our stats. Now, if the students do that and they still need more work on getting that foundation laid, then you can refer to a librarian, or new this year, you can refer to the Peer Learning Lab tutors. We are going to start training them to do that basic searching and evaluation support. So now that we have that way to reinforce the basics, we can focus our attention on more complex, interesting skills. The best way to discover the most effective delivery for your course needs, whether that is a discipline-specific database or an examination of unusual source types, is to contact your liaison librarian. We are very well versed in both types of formats and how to connect content to your course material. My liaison faculty already work with me to find the most effective delivery, which isn't always a library session, so I encourage all of you to do the same. You can get some ideas of how that works by looking at the Developing Research Skills in the Major on the ILAC guide. For those of you who are in Group A, your liaison librarian is just a job posting for at least the next few weeks. In the meantime, contact me to start the conversation, and either I or Heidi will get the process going with you. Now for the biggest ILAC news. We are changing our common language for evaluation from the PATS acronym to the 3 questions for evaluation. If you are new and you don't know about the PATS acronym, don't worry. You don't need to know about it. It's like Crystal Pepsi. It's not coming back, even though Pepsi keeps trying. For those of you who have embraced the PATS acronym as our common language of criteria for evaluating sources, we sincerely thank you. Our use of PATS was as successful as it was because of your teamwork in using this language. The 3 questions for evaluation are the new language. What is it? Why do I care? And what does it really say? These are questions we all answer already, albeit subconsciously. Having students apply the questions consciously makes their agency in their own information consumption explicit. When they have to verbalize why they are choosing an information source, they can't pretend they are empty skulls where knowledge is poured in. They are agents in their own development of understanding in this complex world. Other benefits of the 3 questions are that they are flexible and scalable. They can be applied to a tweet source, just as well as a peer-reviewed journal article. They can be answered simply in IS 101 and complexly in the capstone. The best way to learn more about these 3 questions is to watch the videos that are on the Foundations in Research guide. I only have time today to look at them very briefly with you. What is it? A source is never simply a news source or a website. Build students up to be able to specifically identify what it is they are looking at. Why do I care? Yes, this gets them to connect your assignment requirements to what they find, but it also gets them thinking how different source types meet different kinds of needs, like that tweet source I mentioned earlier, and how this happens in real life all the time. We are always making decisions about why we care about one kind of source and not another, but we're not always honest with ourselves about it. What does it really say? Gets into the rhetoric of a piece so that the students can start to identify how word choices greatly influence understanding. But the even bigger critical thinking level we want them to achieve is when they can use a source, identify all its bias or whatever, but still extract facts or other information, then use that in a way in their own information production to affect positive change. All of these questions also play directly into the Wartburg vision. The complex world includes all the different kinds of information we're overwhelmed with. We have to have an empathetic understanding of how identities shape us and our society in order to identify things like word choices, bias, and why any of that matters. And we can't become whole people unless we are critically consuming information with that awareness. And part of the positive change we make in the world is through the information we then produce that others will consume. I'm sure many of you can already see how the 3 questions for evaluation fit directly into dialogues you already have with your students, and will have no trouble adopting this common language to frame those conversations. For those of you who might not be seeing how it applies, talk to your liaison librarian or give this one a try. On the first day of class, apply the 3 questions to yourself and your textbook. It can be a more humorous way to begin your semester, and you get to model how perceiving the context of a source's value should be how we naturally approach information, while at the same time showing that your classroom is a place where everyone can engage in those sometimes uncomfortable conversations about identity and socially constructed authority. For more ideas, like I said, just contact your librarian. We hope to hear from you soon.